Today on the Homefront, we are thrilled to be joined by one of the most iconic actors of all time, known worldwide for his role in the TV series Hercules. He has two new movies coming out in August, The Firing Squad with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Reagan alongside Dennis Quaid. Welcome to the Homefront, my good friend, Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo, welcome to the Homefront.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate it. I met you at the Liberty CEO Summit. You did a panel with a group of people from The Chosen. It was fantastic. How often do you get a chance to get in front of young people today?
Actually, quite a bit. I do a lot of different speaking events. I limit to about 15 a year, and sort of half of it is pro-life. The other half is Christian education. So certainly Christian education is me speaking to mostly under 18 years old kids, which is great.
Got it. Yeah, it was a great event. I was there for 3 days. We did a panel, incredible speakers, and really gives you a lot of confidence going forward as to what we see happening in the world today. So we're sitting here in July of 24. Two weeks ago, there was an assassination attempt on former President Trump. Over the weekend, President Biden dropped out and recused himself from the election. You've been very upfront throughout your career about your faith and your worldview. What are you seeing and hearing now as to kind of what people are looking for? Is the pendulum swinging back a little bit more towards a conservative stance? It feels like it is.
Oh, I definitely feel we've reached a tipping point. And, you know as well as I did, there was something wrong with Biden, even when he so-called won the election 4 years ago as the most popular president of all time. I've always wondered what he did as a senator for 40 years, and I've asked people that are such big fans of the left, and I said, well, list his accomplishments, and they can't list anything. It just seems most of the time, especially over the last 9 years, everything is to just not let Donald Trump win, and that has been just bred into people every single day for the last 9 years for reasons I can't quite figure out. It's amazing to me how the press has just attacked this guy. And here's a guy that for decades, every talk show, everybody in Hollywood wanted him to do a cameo on their TV shows or movies. But the minute he said, I'm going to go run as a Republican president, they just go after the guy every day. It's unbelievable. I don't know him as the best buddy, but I have golfed with him. I've hung out with him. I've got to MC a couple events at Mar-a-Lago. I've probably been to Mar-a-Lago 30 times in the last 5 years. And I see a guy that is so nice to people and such an amazing, most people age in reverse when they run for president. This guy just seems to get younger with it for some reason. And, God bless him for fighting. And I think people are waking up more and more. The destruction of America has got to end. And I think people are finally waking up. Even a lot of people on the left, a lot of people who are middle line voters are realizing, hey, guys, I go to the grocery store now, and a good steak is going to cost me $30 just for a steak when it was $18 just a little while ago. So people are starting to wake up.
Well, I think that's it. And, how does it affect people on Main Street USA? And I always tell my kids, you need to run towards things, not run away from things. Yeah. And, look, nobody's perfect. And when you get in the public eye, everything you've done is going to have intense scrutiny on it. Sure. The world's a tough place. And, we to be taken seriously, we need strong leadership, and people need to know that, we're serious and we're capable. And, I tend to keep things relatively simple, in terms of, how I look at that stuff. And I'm really good friends with the Ben Carson family. We've done a lot of business together. My son is on their board for Carson Scholars, and sure. We're committed with the Carsons. Part of our goal here at Homefront Brands is to give away 1 million books to children by 2037. And then we're building multiple reading rooms under the Carson Scholars program across the country in underserved and under-resourced schools. So we're passionate about children. We're passionate about education. And I remember hearing Dr. Carson speak one time. He said, the world comes down to 3 things, or the country comes down to 3 things. It's the media, it's the schools, and it's the courts. And, you can't lose all of those in terms of, creating a positive, powerful future for the country. And I've heard you say, what is it, Hollywood, or is it politics reflects culture and culture reflects Hollywood, or Hollywood? What is that?
That was Andrew Breitbart said that politics runs downstream from culture. Who runs the culture? Well, Hollywood does.
Right.
And you got the bubble of Washington D.C. over here, you got the bubble of Hollywood over here, and they work together and they pay no attention to the flyover states whatsoever. And Dr. Ben, I got to meet him years ago. He came and spoke at an event when I was still living in L.A. And I got to sit with him at the table, and I got to introduce him to speak in front of our group there. This was the old FOA group, the Friends of Abe Lincoln group that Gary Sinise and John Voight, a number of the people were going. And it was the ultimate photo bombing ever. I sat next to him, I said, "Can I do a selfie with you, Dr. Ben?" He said, "Sure." So we took the selfie, and John Voight was in the background doing a little hand wave and stuff, which is kind of cool. So Dr. Ben and I actually, we both spoke at the opening night of the Moms for America 20th anniversary in Dallas, Texas. And I've been to his house. I know you're friends with him as well. Don't ever challenge him to play pool because he's a little
dark. No, well, I was on his team. It was me and him versus two. Yeah, so we did fine.
It was New Year's Day, and he invited my wife and I over to meet with him and his lovely wife, of course. And we go into his pool room. He opens up this oak case, takes it out, pieces it together, puts on these gloves. I said, "Wait a minute." So it took me 7 games to win once. One guy, but
well, he deserves it. He let him take him. Look, you're incredibly busy. You do a lot of great things. I'd love to hear a little bit about Sorbo Studios, because I know you've got projects coming out right now. You've got the Firing Squad coming out. You're also going to be in the movie Reagan with Dennis Quaid coming out here. I think August 2nd is which one comes out the 2nd? Which one comes out the 30th?
August 30th is going to be Reagan. And people go to sorbostudios.com, sorbostudios.com. Please sign up, keep up to date. But we have that's my wife's site along with myself. She's obviously a homeschool advocate. She's written a number of books on it. But we have a lot of things coming up through Sorbo Studios. I actually have 3 more movies booked this year. I've got another 4 movies in post-production right now, not counting the ones that are coming in theaters. And I have 3 documentaries all coming out over the next year as well that are in post-production right now. So I like to stay busy, and I'm going to keep making movies with a message.
At Sorbo Studios, you have smaller budget films, $3 to $5 million budgets to make films. How do you keep talented crew and people passionate and aligned on what you're trying to accomplish there? And what are you trying to accomplish?
I want to do movies that Hollywood used to do. Movies that have love and hope and laughter and redemption and faith or whatever it may be. They don't have to be Christian movies. Every movie is a faith-based movie. If you're an atheist, that's an incredibly strong faith to believe in nothing. It's kind of sad in a way, but I think it's kind of a tough way to go through life. But every movie is really faith-based. But the movies I do, really, Hollywood used to make these kind of movies that had more positive messages to them. And right now, Hollywood's got a very bizarre agenda they're pushing out. Disney took well over $1 billion loss last year because people are tired of going to these theaters and having all these agendas that really just break up the morality of the country. And I want to do movies that the Hollywood, like I said, like they used to do. So $3 to $5 million budget, yeah, it sounds like a lot, but they're not, obviously. That's like catering budget in Pirates of the Caribbean. But we do very good movies with that kind of money. And the reason we keep those kind of costs, production value is just as good as anything Hollywood does, because camera equipment today is not expensive. And I can record off my phone. I can get a very high def movie made. And you'd be amazed at how many people reach out to me. We're talking people that do these big budget movies, whether they're directors of photography, whether they're makeup people, whether they're lighting guys, camera guys. They contact me through Sorbo Studios and say, "Look, I want to work on one of your movies because I'm tired of the crap I'm working on." I'm someone that believes the way you believe, that there is, a positive moral value that kept this country on course to begin with. And now, of course, we're falling off the wheels.
How many scripts do you get, and how does a script catch your attention?
Well, I'll tell you, I get at least 20 scripts a day sent to me through my website, Studios. And I keep telling people, I'm not looking for new products. I've got enough scripts of my own that I've already fallen in love with. Not when I say of my own, they're in my production company. I didn't write them. These are ones that I fell in love with over the last 10 years. And these are the ones I'm trying to make right now. So I don't try to do anything, get new ones. I say, look, if you're funded and you got a place to shoot, Then I'll look at it. You have a real offer, but none of these people. I got an idea. Oh, I got a great idea. Oh, great. Everybody's got great ideas. I just don't have the patience for seriously ground level projects. I got enough of my own. I just signed on to a 6-picture deal to shoot 2 movies in the next 3 years each year. So I'm booked for the next 3 years, unless someone's got a 2-week role for me over here or a 2-week role for me over there.
Are those outside of Sorbo Studios?
Are they outside of my studios?
Yeah, are they in your studio?
Within. They came to me. They want to fund the scripts that I have. And I've had some of these scripts I've had for 10, 15 years.
Okay.
I would say, last year we put out A Miracle in East Texas and Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, based on Left Behind books. And that was in the Sorbo Studios family. So the people brought those to me. We fell in love with the scripts. We found the funding. Thank God we found the funding, and we made the movies. They were in theaters last year. So everything I'm doing pretty much right now, if it's not through my production company, it's through other independent production companies, because Hollywood booted me out 10 years ago. The hypocrisy of Hollywood said that we can't work with you anymore because you're conservative and a Christian. And I just kind of laughed at that. What's so funny is this country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. Our documents, our Constitution was faith-based men that put that together. Our laws come from the Bible. And now we have half this country that wants to get rid of all that stuff and turn this country into a third world country, which is unbelievable to me. And that comes down, once again, what you mentioned, Dr. Ben mentioned, our education system is absolutely pathetic, and it's been brainwashing people for decades. But for the last 20 years, they've just exploded with this insanity, what they're doing to kids and doing. I think one of the blessings of COVID is that some parents finally woke up to realize how crappy the public education system is. And they took their kids out, and 2 million more families are now homeschooling, and we need more people to do it. Bill Maher came out 2 months ago and said, don't send your kids to American universities. That was Bill Maher. Right. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Get rid of the schools. Get rid of our public education system, and let our education system become a business and not run by the government. Because I think one of my favorite Ronald Reagan quotes, of which there are many, he said, "These are the greatest words to fear. Hi, I'm from the government. I'm here to help."
That's right. Well, look, Bill Maher is he's clear about his position on things, but sure. He also, for me, it's everything you learned in 5th grade. It's be personally responsible, take accountability for yourself. If you know the right thing to do, do that. Be a servant, put other people's needs first, look for areas where you can, these are basic principles, right? That we, every coach, every football coach, every teacher, anybody that was in our parent group, they all were, we were all, that was what we were taught. And it seems like it's gone all the way to the other side. Was worry about what everybody else is doing, correct everybody else. If you don't like what's happening to you, scream, throw a fit, advocate. It seems like it's gotten. Sometimes the kids are running the asylum.
When we went to war against the most powerful country in the world at that time, which was Britain, the British monarchy, we go to war against them over a small tax, and when that kicked off, I look at today's government. Our government treats us far worse than the British ever did. And we just sit there like frogs in a kettle in cold water as they keep slowly turning up the heat. And we keep saying, everything's okay, everything's okay. They only want this, only want that. Well, every time they take an inch through the decades, they've taken miles upon miles of freedoms away from us. And people just sit back because they're nothing but sheep. And I got to tell you, Jeff, every time I do these movies I've been doing the last 6-7 years, I'll get another actor, a director, a makeup artist, whoever it may be, comes up to me and says, "Hey, Kevin, thanks for being a voice for us." I go, be a voice for yourself.
That's right.
Stop letting fear control your lives, because that's the government's favorite weapon outside of actual physical threat. They love fear and control over everybody's life.
Look, I try to get outside of my echo chamber, but the enough is enough already seems to be spreading. It's like, okay, look, we teach our children to speak up. We teach them to, advocate for themselves. But, they need to do that respectfully, and they need to earn it. I mean, you get people to come into a company and they've been there three months now, and they're telling you how to run the business and that they need to be a vice president. Where, when we were growing up, and I don't know what kind of jobs you had growing up. I assumed you played sports. I mean, I've seen Hercules, right? So,
What
did you play growing up?
Basketball, baseball guy.
Basketball,
And,
baseball?
yeah.
How tall were you? How tall are you?
I'm 6'3". So my
6'3"?
Hercules years, I was 230. I'm 210 now. I'm an old guy now. I can't keep that kind of muscle mass on, but I still work out every day. I still love to do it, you know. Actually, I got the Hercules sword here right behind me. That was given to me the very last day of 7 years on Hercules. It's got the dates 1993 through 2000 on there, and says, the journey may be over, but the legend lives on. So it was very nice for them to give me that as a gift as I left the series.
What was that wrap party like?
It was emotional
Mm,
because you're on this, you work 14 hours a day, and then I was lifting weights an hour and a half every day. I mean, a typical day for me from door to door is anywhere from 16 to 18 hours every single day. It was a grind, but I loved it. I lived in New Zealand for those 7 years. It was fantastic. The people are great. My crew is phenomenal. In fact, my entire crew went on to work on Lord of the Rings, and half of them went on to win Oscars and Golden Globes. So it was an honor to be part of that series. By season 3, we're the most watched TV show in the world. Not many actors can say that, so I was blessed with that. But had an absolute blast doing it. But here, I'll tell you one job I had growing up. In college, for 2 summers, I was a caddy at a private country club. My dad was a school teacher. I'm the fourth of 5 kids. We didn't have that kind of money, what
right.
these guys had. But I asked all these guys. But one thing both my parents instilled in us was hard work. They grew up in farms in Iowa, and they told all of his kids, you need to work hard. Don't expect handouts. Work hard in your life. They put a very strong work ethic, all 5 kids. But I asked these people I caddied for, how did you become so wealthy? How do you become so successful? They all said the same thing. Oh, I failed, Kevin. Oh, then I failed again. And by the way, I failed for about 10 years before I found success. And that taught me, don't give up. Keep plugging away. We have too many kids today, just lazy beyond lazy. This privilege stuff is absolutely nuts to me. And it's part of it's part of this, what we're talking right now, off phones, computers. All this instantaneous. I want to be successful now. You got people on, TikTok or whatever, flashing their boobs or shaking their butt, and they're making money off of that. So every kid goes, I'm going to do that. And it's all about displaying bad behavior and stupid behavior. And everybody wants to be a star right away. They don't have the patience to work hard. They want instant, like you said, they want to be instantly. They want a Rolls Royce right now, and a hill that's got a 14,000 square foot house on top of it. And people need that. It's not going to work out that way. So what happens? They get angry and they become BLM. They become Antifa. They become people that are disgruntled that their lives didn't turn out so well. So it's your fault they don't have success. So they're going to attack you. I mean, it's really amazing to me how screwed up that our television and movies and our governments and press have done to make people impatient and angry.
You've touched on it a couple times, education. What experience can you share about raising children? And I know you have 3. I'm not specifically asking about your kids, but to parents in general, trying to discern, teach them to discern like what's true and, what types of things would help somebody raising their kids in this really confusing time where there's lots of social media, there's lots of distractions, there's lots of points of light to look at. Like, how do you keep it simple, and what experience could you share with parents today?
Well, number one, homeschool. Get them out of the school. But
Okay.
what we did every day with our kids is we start the day at breakfast reading the Bible for half an hour. Read the Bible. You don't have to be a Christian to read the Bible. It's the most popular book ever written of all time. Every year, it's the number 1 best-selling book. Read the Bible, and you'd be surprised that this Bible that's thousands of years old with its literature in there applies to everything that's happening in the world right now. Right now. I mean, teach your kids some values. Teach your kids hard work. Don't be your kid's best friend, okay? That can come later in life. Right now, be their parent and learn the word no. No and failure are good things because you learn from those things. And people are afraid to discipline their kids now in today's world. My parents weren't. When I was going to school, there were SWAT boards at every public school that the parents were giving that teacher, you want to whack my kid a good one in the butt for being a jerk, go for it.
Yeah, I hated those ones that they had drilled the holes in it.
Yeah,
they would drill the holes in it and it would whistle.
That's fun.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's talk about the firing squad. Is that your project coming out? I know you've got a role in it.
I got a role in it. That's all. Tim Shea, the director, came to me. We've been talking for years about a project. I love true stories. This is a true story. I play a guy that was over there in his late 20s. He was surfing. He got angry at some guy hitting on his girlfriend. He got in a fight and he killed the guy. in Indonesia. He was in Indonesia. He got the death penalty. He was in prison for many, many years. And during all that time, with all his hate and anger, somehow he found Jesus. He found God. He became a pastor, and he started preaching daily to other inmates and the guards. He ultimately was executed in 2015, so it's not that long ago, because they still have the firing squad in Indonesia. So it's a wonderful true story. Cuba Gooding Jr. is in the movie as well, and it's a movie about, you know what, you can find redemption and hope in the darkest of places, on death row in a foreign prison. You can find it anywhere. So it's a wonderful true story, touching story. It's not made up. And August 2nd, people go to firingsquadfilm.com. That's firingsquadfilm.com to get information on it. It's a great story.
Yeah, I was there, and I found something, millionsouls.org.
Yeah. Tim Che, the director, very heavy, strong Christian guy. He said that, I hope that this movie will save 1 million souls. And so it's good to have that kind of goal. And, it's funny. I used to get stopped all the time through airports, hotel lobbies, whatever. People would say, oh, I loved Hercules, or I loved you as Captain Dylan Hunt in Andromeda, but 80% of the time now, it's God's Not Dead, What If, Soul Surfer, Let There Be Light, Miracle in East Texas. It's the movies I'm doing that have a good message. That's what people want me to keep doing. So it's been a blessing to go down this other road that I never thought I'd be on.
Well, awesome. I know we're heading towards the end of our time. I got 2 questions for you. One is this one of regression analysis. So like I kick off our training with all of our franchisees, and I compare them to Elon Musk. Like, what's the difference? And, Elon Musk, he doesn't have filters to tell him no. So when he decides we need to go to Mars, he just works backwards and does a regression analysis to figure out, well, we have to launch 1 rocket an hour. How do we do that? And it just, he fills in the gaps. If you were to look forward 10 years from now, what is the change that you would have wanted to see in the world? And what are you willing to do during your time here to make that happen?
I think the change I want to see is the change I'm starting to see right now in slow motion, but it's starting to happen, is that tipping point we talked about. And I'm hoping 10 years from now, we're back to where we were at least 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, if you can look back to Reagan's presidency, there's always going to be battles, all that kind of stuff. Even Clinton's presidency, Bill Clinton was smart enough to at least work on both sides of the aisle. I would say he was actually more of a centrist than anything else. He didn't want to take away a lot of stuff that Reagan was already building up on. I think Bush kind of blew it, in terms of the things he said, read my lips, no new taxes. And he did get new taxes out there. And, Clinton initially got in with the lowest percentage of votes of any president. I think it was like 38%, because of Ross Perot running against Bush.
I know. My wife won't let me forget that I voted for him.
Voted where that Bush would have had. So, we got to be careful about, we have enough division going on right now. And I'm hoping now this whole fundamentally change America that Obama wanted to do goes back the other way. Because I told my wife, you would have said the morning of our wedding that you're going to fundamentally change me the minute we're married, I would have been a runaway husband right away. Trust me, I wouldn't have stuck around.
Outstanding. Kevin, last question. If you had one sentence that you could speak to someone to make an impact in their life, what would that be?
Don't let anyone set your limitations, especially yourself.
Perfect. Kevin Sorbo, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
This has been great. Kevin Sorbo with what's that?
Let's talk in November. I got 2 documentaries coming out.
Okay. When?
Mid-November they come out.
Okay. Awesome. We'll look for them. This has been Kevin Sorbo with Jeff Dudan, and we have been on the Homefront. Thanks for listening.